producer of Dragon Slaying Slasher. This is Neo, an artist, and Zach, one of our two Zachs, another artist. Our other teammates couldn't make it. There is Zach with a T for his last name. We call him Zachar T. He's sick, and there is Greg, who just isn't here. And yeah, this is our game. There is but a single enemy, because we had no idea what we were doing. This is all new to us. We literally made this in JavaScript. So it's literally just like a big empty map in the vein of The Legend of Zelda. And yeah, the enemy's gone. You can move into other areas. They're all numbered because I didn't have time to create every single map is unique. We have a desert area. I have a beach area. Oh look, it's a thing. Who knows what's inside? It's a dungeon. There are supposed to be more enemies in here. But did not have time, nor did I figure out exactly how to get more enemies to spawn, except the one we have. The other Zach, he made all the enemy AI, which consists of one dude shooting a projectile and then a larger, what was supposed to be a dragon, slashing at you and shooting fireballs. We actually have those in separate game files. We just didn't have time to implement them into our game. I can word well. So yeah, it's just a big map. We have the beach, grassland, volcano. Doesn't look that much like a volcano. It looks more like a gray landscape with really bad acne. Yeah, just kind of like wander around. Oh yeah, it was made completely from scratch. We worked in JavaScript and put it into HTML, so I guess that's like a positive thing we have. Everyone else used Unity, so. All the textures are each 32 by 32 pixel tiles, and yeah, you have anything to say, Neo? You don't have to go to the character art. We weren't able to implement it, so. Oh yeah, and this was supposed to be like the final level because you were supposed to, it's not supposed to, you were supposed to defeat 4 other dragons that represent the elements and then the final evil dragon or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, that was supposed to be our game, but right now it's just a big empty map in one file and then and this was supposed to be the dragon. Yeah, it doesn't even have texture. There's a slash attack. It's big, scary. We're supposed to be. Now, I'm surprised that we are here compared to every other game, so, props for that. So yeah, that's our game, I guess. Cool.
Thanks for coming out, guys. So I think we can see that you've got a lot of things concepted and you're still running through like the other pieces there with the dragon. And so that dragon attack is like a wing or a tail or a sweep. Is that
claw? Something like that.
I can see that going like once you got your art together. But I think what we'd all have to note is that so you're saying the entire thing was done in JavaScript? Like you learned to program all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's I think that's worth noting a little bit there. That's a fair amount of effort that you guys put in to make that happen. From
Took a lot of arrays.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we'd all like to see like where you could go like from there and see like what the other different pieces would be, like and how you fill that map. So, all right, thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. So yeah, the main key, one of the bigger key differences is that you guys weren't using a pre-existing game engine. So literally you guys were working out a notepad, just sort of moving pixels around in a browser. I think that one thing what I'm seeing here is that you guys made an editor for like dungeon map generation, right? So you're able to just sort of like put together what a room looks like through like some, I don't know, are you guys using JSON or list of comma separated values? How are you doing it?
Arrays. Lots and lots of arrays.
Okay, cool. But I'm seeing, being able to successfully navigate through a dungeon crawler in Java or in JavaScript. And it plays on any website, on any browser, right? So you can play this on Internet Explorer, Internet Explorer,
Google Chrome?
Yeah, Firefox.
Why would you use Internet Explorer?
Yeah. So you can do all of that without having to like install a plugin, right? So that's pretty cool. I enjoy what you built. I see the programming prowess it took. So good job.
Gracias.
All right. So as you noted, a lot of the other people were using Unity. What exactly was the choice to use JavaScript over an existing game engine?
It is literally the only thing we knew how to do.
Okay, so from like that standpoint, I would encourage you guys to look at these game editors because the reason they exist is that they have a lot of the tools built into that, and they also have huge communities which have tutorials on how to access and use the power of these engines. And I think that's really important, especially when you look at what you guys are going up against too, to note that this is what happens when you get out into the industry, is that the reason why these games accelerate is they save tons of time and cost for teams to actually be able to put out competitive games with people who are spending tens of millions of dollars on their projects, that they can do so for a much lower cost. So from like a standpoint of you guys put a ton of effort into this project with millions of arrays to get the results you did, I think you would put the same amount of effort and be able to more confidently talk about what you guys did. The other standpoint is when you guys do put a bunch of effort into these things, be proud of what you do no matter what the result looks like. Because it comes across, and your team did put a lot of effort. That's obvious that you guys took the time to put in there. So talk about it from that point. There's some funny choices you guys made, and you can talk about that from like a positive, oh, we just numbered all these things because that's the number land they're in. Instead of, saying because I didn't have time or sorry, that changes the tone of the presentation to a point where it's hard for us to necessarily point out the positives and or negatives because you just essentially said it wasn't that good the whole time. So my advice to you is be proud of what you put your effort into, and then also make sure when you decide the decisions, just kind of stick behind them and represent what you guys did for your team. So that'd be my insight for you guys. But I appreciate you guys having the courage to come up and talk about what you did. It looked like you put a lot of effort into it.
Thanks.
I'll say to you that I do appreciate what you built here from the ground up, considering what you were working with. And I also want to go some more with what James was saying about presentation. When you're presenting this within the industry, I know it's really easy to stand up there and say, here's why I think this sucks. Because you've been at this for so long and that's what your eyes are seeing. And it's also super fun being up on stage in front of all these people. But if you're up there saying, here's what we have and here's our goal, it makes it a lot easier for people you are working with to say, okay, let's pick this up and let's do this together. And you're gonna have people much more willing to help you take your project to completion. If you come up and say, this is what I have, this is why we think it's great, and this is where we want it to go.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Have any words, Zach?